Fathers and sorors, the imperator of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc, Ralph M. Lewis.
Fratres and sorors, I recently received a very interesting letter from a frater. He said, "We as Rosicrucians are not fatalists. Then how can we accept without reservation that the cosmic masters always know what you will do in the future? Would it not destroy man's liberty to obey or disobey his conscience and create his own destiny if his actions were predetermined?" The above statement to which the frater refers appears in the Rosicrucian Manual. First, it is necessary that the frater carefully reread the sentence which he quoted. It will be noted that he says that the masters always know what you will do. However, knowing the proclivities or tendencies of an individual does not mean the compulsion of that individual. The statement does not say that there is an impelling of the individual at all times by an external force which deprives the individual of the functions of his own reason and will. Let us use the analogy of a school teacher who is quite familiar with the intellectual capacity, the mental functioning, and the will of her students. She knows in advance just what some of her students will do under particular circumstances. She knows, for example, that Johnny is a procrastinator. He will put off the study of a subject until the very night before an examination. He will then cram for it a very few hours before. He will thus get a passing grade, but will not retain knowledge which has been gained in that fashion. She likewise knows that Mary is a very good student, but a highly sensitive and emotional child. Mary will study conscientiously in advance of her tests. Under the excitement of the actual examination, her results will not be satisfactory due to her emotional state. Subsequently, however, Mary will remember what she has studied. Now, in the example shown above, no one could say that because the teacher knew the characteristics and personality traits of these students and how they would act, that she was exercising a fatalistic control of them. After all, the students could have changed their habits and could have done otherwise without any intervention on the part of their teacher. So it is with the cosmic masters. These intelligences know by their psychic contacts our proclivities, but they have not dominated our wills or our thinking. The whole subject of cosmic masters is very important mystically. Because of its intriguing nature, it is likewise a subject which is likely to overstimulate the imagination of some Rosicrucian members. This is particularly due to the popular mystical literature written on the topic, which is not only exaggerated, but deliberately falsified to make a fiction-like article. The obvious improbability of many such fantastic claims has resulted in skepticism upon the part of many otherwise sincere students of mysticism. It has caused them to figuratively close the door to the real help which can come from a proper understanding of the cosmic masters. Cosmic masters, fratres and sorors, are not deities. They are not a hierarchical order of saints and angels. The cosmic masters are intelligences who were once mortals. They were, as Rosicrucians are clearly told in their monographs, men and women who on earth at one time successfully mastered their lives. This mastering did not necessarily consist of succeeding in worldly enterprises, as the accumulation of great wealth or the attainment of posts of mundane power or fame. Rather, these masters were those who cultivated and liberated the spiritual powers of their own being and caused them to vanquish the limitations of the physical side of their nature. As the monographs relate, the cosmic masters were mortals who overcame the temptations which would degrade and enslave them to human vices and weaknesses. They mastered by learning how to awaken and apply the powers of self so that they could truly direct, as mastership requires, the affairs of their lives consonant with cosmic purposes. By such development, these individuals rose to that soul personality development where it became no longer necessary for them to incarnate in physical form, their cosmic lessons having been learned. Their inner consciousness, with its wisdom, lingers on in the cosmic just as the perfume of a bouquet of wild flowers after the flowers have been removed from a room. One of the greatest misunderstandings surrounding the topic is involved in just how these masters are to help mortals on earth and how they are to be contacted. We all know that many persons are indolent by nature and inclined to pass their responsibilities on to others, especially if such entails any labors and sacrifices. In the same way, we find that there is a tendency more and more for individuals to have their government assume duties which are in fact their own. So too, many hope and want to believe that the cosmic masters will guide them or in fact put them right in every problem with which they are confronted. As just stated, the cosmic masters had lived on this earth plane as we do. In their times, they had equivalent worldly problems with which to contend. They knew of sickness, adversities, economic problems, war and strife. They knew of the temptations in which the flesh is subject. Nevertheless, they mastered by surmounting these experiences they suffered. They learned and finally were able to call upon spiritual powers resonant within themselves for aid when necessary. Therefore, for one to ask or expect these cosmic masters to serve him in the ordinary affairs of living would be to brand himself as a weak character before them. In other words, until, fathers and sorors, you have proved yourself worthy by a sincere and deliberate effort to meet and master your own problems, as the cosmic masters once had to do, you cannot ask or expect cosmic aid from them. There is an old adage that one cannot enter court with unclean hands. This old Roman precept referred to one asking a court of law to aid him when he himself was in violation of the law to which he was appealing. Most certainly, if such an ethical principle was considered in man-made courts, it would likewise apply in cosmic affairs. One cannot expect literally that a cosmic master is to be assigned to him as a personal servant and guide combined. There will be no whispering in our ear by a cosmic master, as our late imperator said, to cause the right decisions in every little affair in which we should exercise our own judgment. Such an attitude is, in fact, an insult to the exalted place and function of the cosmic masters. Second, until we have prepared ourselves, we are not worthy of the assistance the cosmic masters will give. Further, when we do prepare ourselves, we know better than to expect cosmic assistance in trivial, mundane affairs. One must try to live a morally clean life. His thoughts during contemplation must be pure in the immediate physical sense. He must have striven to follow the dictates of the inner self. If one is hypocritical, adopting a perfidious, virtuous attitude in his relations with others, but who in reality is vulgar, profane, and immoral in his conduct, he will never make contact with the cosmic masters, no matter how urgent the appeal may be. It is not possible, or rather we should say, the cosmic masters will not consort with those who have created about themselves a malevolent, degrading environment. If you create about you, by your thinking and behavior, a low, heavy, impenetrable fog, you can never expect to see the bright stars which shine in the great vault of the heavens. Some students of mysticism think that the phrase, "when the pupil is ready,"